So with the festive season fast approaching, there is something that's been flagged, and that's the escalation of drowning incidents. Just yesterday, 2 girls aged 5 and 9 drowned in a swimming pool at a hotel in Durban. The National Sea Rescue Institute has revealed that more fatal drownings occur, mostly in freshwater, contrary to the belief that they happen in the ocean, and they've got research to support this. We're now joined by Dr. Jill Fortuin, Executive Director of Drowning Prevention at the NSRI. Dr. Fortuin, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. How was the research conducted and why?
Good afternoon, Dudu. Thank you to you and your listeners. So the purpose of the research was to sort of provide an epidemiological overview of drownings in South Africa. And the reason for this was that in the absence of good drowning data, we weren't able to really make impactful decisions about what it is that we need to use as interventions to prevent drownings. And, what are the risk factors to drowning? So this data gives us a good overview of where the drownings are occurring, who does it affect mostly, and also, things like what are the drowning trends has all come out of this research paper.
And so the research paper was taking a look at drowning incidents from 2016 to 2021. Some of the findings indicate that the top province in terms of drowning is KwaZulu-Natal, followed by the Eastern Cape, Gauteng, which does not have an ocean, and the Western Cape. However, contrary to popular belief, the drownings didn't occur in the ocean?
Correct, yeah. So most of the drownings actually occur where it's sort of not safe to swim, or what we will call unauthorized places. So if you think of the ocean, it's well resourced with lifeguards. The National Sea Rescue Institute is available to respond to these rescues. And generally there's a huge public audience that will do bystander rescues because of using pink rescue buoys. However, when you go to a stream or a reservoir or a well and you decide to swim in these places, 1, nobody knows that you're going to swim. 2, it's not an authorized place to swim. And 3, there's nobody to respond if you should be in trouble. And so, yes, we are definitely seeing an increase in freshwater drownings throughout South Africa.
Worryingly, the report reveals that the prevalence in drowning is within the 0 to 4 year age group. Help us understand that, especially in relation to your explanation of the drownings taking place in unauthorized places.
Yeah, so what we're also seeing is a trend is that, in the 0 to 4 year age group, there's 2,755 drownings. They account for a considerable amount of drownings in terms of the total drowning population. And so if you look at the total drowning population, 7,445 drownings, and that's close on to almost 50% of the drownings happens in the 50% of the drownings happens in the 0 to 4 year age group. So I think that's an alarming statistic. And if you think about it, a 0 to 4 year old is not going to go and walk themselves to the beach. They're not going to walk themselves to an unauthorized access, place. However, they are going to fall into a bucket or into the cistern or into, in the bath or in a swimming pool. And that comes down to supervision. And so the request from this research data is, please, parents and caregivers, supervise your children diligently.
All it takes is a split second, for anything to happen, especially with the littlest of the little ones. Let's take a look at what the study presents in terms of males. They represented 81% of drownings. Why?
So, through international research and as well as our research, it's confirmed that males obviously have more risky behavior in terms of physical activities. And so, of course, swimming, being in water is a physical activity, and they are more likely to take risks in and around water. And with the result, when they take those risks, unbeknown to them, they put themselves at the risk of drowning. And sometimes that actually happens and sometimes not. So I think, it's a confirmation what we're seeing in international literature around drowning, that males definitely behave more risky, and that it could end up in a fatal drowning.
I wonder what you found where alcohol consumption was concerned. Can we link the prevalence in drownings to alcohol?
Yeah, so unfortunately in our data set that we received from the South African Police Service, whether or not the person is drinking alcohol, it's not included in the data set. However, when we look at the drowning statistics over the 6-year period, what we have deduced or hypothesized from this data is that the highest incidence of drowning is in 2021. The lowest incidence of drowning is in 2020. When we think of the COVID-19 restrictions, we definitely saw a substantial decrease in drownings, and that was, we assume, was, or hypothesized, that it was purely based on the fact that alcohol was banned during that period. And then it substantially increased in 2021, and that's because there was no ban. But in the absence of hard data, we are unable to make that sort of a firm statement at this stage, and we hope that our future research leads us to confirmation of that hypothesis.
Fair enough. Any drowning prevention initiatives?
Yes, so coming this summer, we've already put in 10 months of work in terms of our water safety education program. That is a national program in 4 provinces, and also, via social media websites. And then, in addition to our water safety education program, other drowning prevention initiatives include survival swimming, our Pink Rescue Boy program, and then, having lifeguards on beaches, and our rescue services at the NSRI has all been trained and ready for rescues should and when they occur.
Dr. Jill Fortuin, Executive Director of Drowning Prevention at the National Sea Rescue Institute. Thank you, ma'am.